So maybe it makes sense first to tell you a few words about the AST. AST stands for Advanced Security Technologies. We are not doing any kind of marketing activities, as we want to stay below the radar based on the fact that we are dealing with quite confidential data and organizations. So mostly we are sharing information about our products and services in similar groups like it is today. Small groups that are focused on managed servicing providing for different kind of organizations, and usually we are playing through local partners with the final customers, not directly on that one. So in general, for you to get a feeling about the AST, we are doing business. We have legal entities in Singapore and Serbia. Besides that, we have customers in Asia Pacific region, in practice talking about the Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, then in Central Asia as well, and of course in European area, that one. Now we will be expanding business this year to US as well. We have some patent pending solutions, and we are doing a lot of research and development in security. Anyway, today the topic is to share with you some of the products and services that we have, but I will focus on the real practical usage service that can be applied for you to win in any kind of bid. When I say any kind of bid, it means that idea is that no matter what is the core content of a bid, as long as it is related to cybersecurity, you can just add a few more items and you will ensure that no one else can fulfill all these requirements. That's it. Anyway, let me go slide by slide. I think you are familiar with the challenges that are happening recently. We just had a talk this morning talking about the critical vulnerability for the Carbon Black. Carbon Black is, by the way, EDR. It should be the safest type of the software, but still there will be critical vulnerabilities always on that one. And the issue is that number of these vulnerabilities is rising, which is logical based on the fact that we have more and more different kind of solutions, talking about the IoT, talking about the industrial IoT, talking about the new software and platforms on that one. And the issue is also that then you have a lot of new vectors. For your information, it's coming on daily basis. I think I read some statistics talking about even something like 50,000 new different kind of signatures for the malware detection, that one. So it gives you the idea about the level of the challenges that are being addressed with that one, meaning the idea of using so-called blacklist, meaning knowing what is bad and then blocking that one does not work anymore. On the other side, if you're using whitelist, it's a challenge because you have a lot of false alarms, and then your team cannot handle all of this. Additional challenge in recent years is so-called zero-day attacks. What is a zero-day? It is a vulnerability that has not been disclosed yet, and there is no appropriate patching. And there is a time of period from discovering that by the criminal groups up to the patching moment that even if you want to do something, you cannot do anything on that one. One of the nice examples of zero-day was the last year's Log4j zero-day vulnerability. It had a huge impact, talking about different kind of products. So here you can see specifically 1.5 thousand different products. I can tell you that it's much more based on the open source solutions being used as well. And you can see that more than 150 million IT assets were flagging 22 million vulnerable application installations. So it's a huge vulnerability scope that can be used. And we were facing Log4j attacks. That was, in fact, the best proof of our approach, because our customers were protected against the zero-day attack even before it was officially published, the patch for that one. Anyway, for you to understand the concept of the solution that we are using, it's the best one taking with, translation to the real non-IT world. So if you take a look at these specific castle, and I ask you, how would attacker attack this kind of castle? I assume that it will be very hard to guess. where the attack will be coming from. That one, as you don't see any, how to say, weaknesses in this castle on that one. Well, that is one of the problems. If you do not know where the attacker will come, it's very hard to do any kind of prognosis and then to be able to focus on these specific areas and to prevent these kind of specific attacks. Well, if you take a look at this castle, I assume that you can guess where the attack can come from. For example, you have these. You can see these weaknesses in the wall on the left side. Also, you can see that the gate half open on the right side. You can see that plant rising up to the window that can be used also for the attack on that one. Well, we are doing something similar. What does it mean? In fact, we are placing a fake vulnerabilities in the systems that every hacker can disclose, while the regular user can never find them in their regular usage process. What do we achieve with that? We achieve that first, we don't have false alarms. Whoever touches the trap, as soon as he touches, we will know that he does not have any kind of good attempts. The second thing is that as soon as he touches, he will also disclose his weapon as well, meaning that we will discover the specific attack vector, not only the attacker, but also the attack vector. This is talking about one single entity, but when applied to the huge number of entities, then it looks much more complex and much more challenges. This diagram shows you that the global overview, how the data flow works in our solution for that one. So on the left side, you have a lot of these cyber traps. In fact, let me explain what I mean by the cyber trap. Cyber trap is a cyber clone, meaning that you can clone any specific device or a service. So it looks perfectly like the original one, meaning that the hacker cannot disclose that it is a fake one, while it is not a real one. It's just a fake. It will behave just like the original one, and it will force the attacker to go into interaction with the trap and to disclose its specific details about the attack and his, of course, personality. By the way, this cyber cloning has been patented in the US in the last month, and we are the only one in the world right now doing this kind of solution. The benefit of that cyber clone is that you can apply that to any kind of device or service. So that one, meaning that the model is usually the same. We perform the process of cloning of your specific device or system, and then we will expose it to public IP to see who will be coming and how they will try to attack. Anyway, regarding this diagram, so imagine when you have hundreds of these kind of cyber clones placed around the world. Specifically, it is important to place in some strategic locations. Talking about, for example, if you are, let's say, a government organization, you will place it your public IPs. If you are the small medium business, you will place at your specific IP and DNS related to that one. Anyway, placing is a strategical thing that we will help you to decide what is the best model for deploying. But once these are deployed, the benefit is that you will be collecting information about all these attacks in real time, and using this real-time information, you will know who, from where, how is trying to attack these specific devices. But also what we do is in real-time processing, we are doing so-called real-time attack analysis, and we are doing the enrichment of this data. What do I mean by the enrichment? So besides the native data that we are gathering from the attacks, also we are capable to perform correlation that will do, for example, detection of new attack vectors. So we will distinguish a new attack vector never seen before. Or for example, we can correlate advanced attackers that will be showing some attackers that has a higher level skills and then doing a complex kind of attacks. Also, we can disclose specific target attacks against specific devices. So all this is being done in real time in less than 10 milliseconds. And what is important part at the last phase of this processing is that we are based on this one, we are creating so-called feeds. Feeds are being updated every few seconds on that one. And then these feeds are being sent to our customers on that one. When I said sent to our customers, specifically, I'm talking about their specific devices, talking about next generation firewalls and EDRs primarily. These firewalls and EDRs will be collecting specific kind of so-called indicators of attacks. And based on that one, they will be preventing any kind of interaction with these kind of malicious either IPs or domains or URLs or file hashes that are being done. So idea is that you are building the immunity of your system based on the real-time data collection from the cyber clones that are being exposed to the attack. So in practice, when applied to the system, it looks like that. Just to simplify the model. So as soon as we have one attack vector, as you can see on the left, against someone, all our customers' blue points will immediately get that specific information, and immediately they will add on to their list of blocked IPs, URLs, domain names, file hashing, routing, uh, signatures, and so on. So it can be any kind of information that you would like to disclose. Now, this in practice looks probably, well, it's nice in theory, but does it really work in practice? For that reason, I have prepared you. Now you can watch in real time what's happening on our system. All these red dots are the attackers that has been seen in the last 10 minutes. And you can see every 10 seconds update where the attacks came from against our customers. So for example, in the last 10 seconds, we had the attack from, oops, it was already fast. Again, from Russia, Mexico, Philippines, Pakistan, Thailand, China, Malaysia, China, Iran. And then in these 10 seconds, again, you can see more or less the same guys probably just repeating on that one. Yeah, there is Vietnam now that was not there as well. And regarding the countries that has been attacked, here you can see Serbia, of course, because we have a large number of customers in Serbia, but also you can see Russia, Germany, Kazakhstan, Indonesia, Thailand, Montenegro, Singapore, China, Bosnia, Czech Republic, Great Britain on that one. So I think this illustrates you about the number of attacks that these cyber clones are attracting and information they are collecting. Just for you to be able to understand what kind of information is being collected, I will take a few examples from these systems. For example, these are specific payloads that are being collected during the attack. And here I will highlight to you some of them. For example, look at this payload. As you can see, it is mostly made of hexadecimal zeros, that one. And it is a typical buffer overflow type of attack, trying to overflow the buffer for the purpose of then at the end of this payload having the code to be executed once application is doing the buffer for overflow. Here is another simple example of SQL injection where the attacker in the field of the password and in the field of the username is injecting OR command for the SQL, so it can mitigate the SQL query checking. Then let me see what else might be interesting. This guy, for example, is doing, as you can see, command equals wget IP Q port. So this is a small shell attack in the sense that this is a code that is being executed, but I have to say that the guy is very clever. Why is that? Because yes, he's using wget for download specific remote shell for execution, but he has encrypted the whole content. So in real time, when it is executed, it will decrypt it, and then it will connect to the specific command and control center, which is hidden in this encrypted content. Looking if there is something else that might be interesting for you. Yeah, this is typical cross-site scripting injection when you are adding the alert on any other JavaScript code. Yeah, this guy is, I would say, quite naive because he's just trying with a lot of A's to make buffer overflow. It will never work that way, and so on and so on. I can show you many other things, but another example of the data being collected is different kind of usernames and password that they are trying to use for accessing these applications. So here you can see, for example, SA and then QAT, SVA, and so on. Usually these are the so-called brute force attacks being used. And regarding the specific GET request, here are the example again. I will choose some of them just to show you for example, this guy is hoping that someone forgot a configuration file .environment.php where usually these credentials for the accessing PHP application are being stored, and he's trying to see if this can be accessed or not. Then look at this one. Yeah, this guy is also trying to do the cross-site scripting, but in the get, not in the payload part. Yeah, PHP session. This guy is trying to overtake the PHP session, and so on and so on. Anyway, I think you can get the point about the type of data. The second part that is interesting is, as I have mentioned, are the real-time processing for the purpose of enriching the information, meaning to detect a higher level of attacks. So these are the so-called correlated alerts. The first type that we can see in the last, by the way, these are all live data from the system. These are not synthetic data. So I can, if you prefer, I can access each of these specific alerts and I can show you exactly what was happening, when it was happening, and who were the guys doing the attack. Anyway, the first point is attacker with IP, unknown to integrated third-party threat intelligence. What does it mean? It means that the specific IP we see that is performing the attack against our customers, we are checking with a lot of third-party threat intelligence data providers, and we are looking to see if this attacker has been seen before or not. When we are checking, I'm talking here about checking with the Western solutions as well as the Eastern solutions. So because usually the type of the data and the list of the attackers are not the same on the Western threat intelligence sources and on the Eastern threat intelligence sources. So these are the guys that has not been seen neither by the East or the West, only against our specific customers. Then let me choose, yeah, URL request never seen before. As I have mentioned, that we are tracing every specific attack vector that has been seen. So these are specific URL requests that has not been seen before in the history of collecting the information from our traps. See, here you can see specific coding, and if I understand properly, the code looks like he's injecting the Java code for executing specific command on the host. And the last part is probably the most interesting part, is we are saying that there is a probably human attacker detected. How can we distinguish if it is a machine, meaning just a program or a script being executed and looking for the vulnerabilities, or it is a human behind the PC? Well, what we do is we are measuring so-called standard deviation of time between the attacks. If it is automated attack, so the deviation of time will be small, meaning that amount of time between two continuous attacks will be more or less the same. For example, I will make one request, then it will take something like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, then I will go for the second request, for the third one, and so on. While if it is a human behind, usually what he will do, he will start one tool, so the time deviation will be very small, but then he will look at these results, and then he will go for another tool or for some manual checking of the target, that one. And then the standard deviation time will be much higher, and then this is how we can distinguish that probably there is a human behind that one. So on the specific here details you can see, for example, you can see the standard deviation time was 65 seconds. Probably this is about switching of the tools. And here you can see that all these three attacks came from the same IP, 8.134.89.107, meaning the guy was, consistent with attacks, and he was doing that in many different sequences, not everything at once, but he split it in different parts, and he was doing the attack in these different parts. Anyway, this is all. I hope it gives you the visibility, what kind of attacks we are collecting information about, and what we can protect against all that one. But usually the things, the comments are, well, nice, but probably we will not be exposed to these kind of attacks. For that reason, we, in the cooperation with Zebra, we have placed one of the traps at one of their public IPs. By the way, I have to say that Zebra does not have some public services, so it is not very attractive for the attackers. But still, you can see here in the last 48 hours, let me expand the time to show the last minutes as well. In the last 48 hours, it had 289 different attacks. And here we can see what kind of attacks. So you can see, let me just go one by one. First are those bait hive request attempts, meaning cyber clones has been attacked. And you can see that the highest number of attacks came from US. Then it was coming from Russia, from CA. I'm not sure what is CA, to be honest. JB stands for Great Britain. From China, Czech Republic as well. Interesting. So from Czech to Czech Republic and other countries on that one. Looking at the different kind of attackers here, you can see the IPs that has performed the attack, and you can see that, for example, this guy made 3 different requests, meaning he has just tried 2 attack vectors, and that's it. This guy was a bit better in the sense of the different kind of attacks being performed on that one, as he was trying multiple different type of attack vectors, and so on and so on. I think it gives you the information about that even if you are not that attractive for the attackers, still you will be facing these attacks, and the best approach for being protected against these even unknown attackers and unknown type of attacks is using this kind of real-time information and performing the uh, the prevention attacks before it really happens. Regarding the standard attacks, these are named trap events. You can see also the large number of the IPs performing that one. And regarding the last part, attacker with IP unknown to integrated third party, you can see again a lot in total. If I see well, there are how many? Yeah, 27 different attacks that were happening. And here you can see, for example, from this attacker coming from China, for example, you can see that the payload was empty, but the request that he was using is set up CGI, meaning that he was attacking specific Netgear device, and you can see the commands injected in the that one. So what is important is that this guy has not been seen by the third-party attackers, and then if we try, for example, some of these IPs, let me try by him, and I will type in that IP to be checked. So I'm asking abuse IP, and it's saying that it is 70% of the precision that this guy is the attacker, meaning more or less it is how say it should be safe on that part. If it takes someone else, let me see who might be the interesting guy. I just want to give you some examples so you can see the difference. Oops. Okay, this guy was seen after that one. Very interesting. Anyway, so this is, I hope giving you the information about general, the information about the attacks, what is happening, and that no matter where you are, as soon as you expose any information uh, on the internet, you will very soon have the first attack attempts, and by time it will be increasing and it will be getting more complex and complex on that one. So it is nice. Yes, but the question is, uh, of course, the will the customer will see the benefit. So the good thing is that as you are collecting the information about these attackers and specific attack vectors, you will always have a real measurable value for your customer, meaning you can show on daily basis, on weekly basis, exactly who has tried the attack and how did they try the attack, and they will see that. So there is no reason for explaining that there might be something happening. No, it is really happening, and then it will motivate them for investing in the solution. Another aspect that I would like to highlight to you is that because of the recent geopolitical challenges that are happening, it is interesting that number of attacks is rising a lot. So it has risen multiple times. And what is interesting is that the information, again, from the Eastern and Western threat intelligences are being split, meaning that some IPs will be reported by the Western threat intelligence while not be reported on the Eastern side and opposite way. Here are the specific statistics I have collected for one of our customers from Germany. By the way, they are using the Mandiant threat intelligence, which is one of the most expensive one in the market, the Western one, and they're using the Cisco threat intelligence as well. But no matter of that, they have placed also our threat intelligence feeds as the part for protecting their network for that one. So you can see here statistics from April, and you can see that our part, SOC threat feed, was covering 52% of all the attack attempts, while the Cisco and Mandiant was covering the rest of that one. It was in April. And here are the information from the previous month. I think this is from December or January, to be honest. I'm not sure which specific month on that one. And here you can see that 75% of these attacks has been blocked using our threat feeds, meaning the number of unknown attackers' IPs is being increased, and also the number of target attacks is being increased a lot on that one. So again, this is a real measurable value that can be shown. And here is the statistics from the period from May last year till January this year. And you can see the number of the threat feeds being the number of attacks being blocked using the SOC threat feeds, meaning our threat feeds, comparing to the rest of the threat intelligence feeds on that one, showing you the obvious value that you will get by implementing custom threat feeds specific for your customer. Anyway, it's nice. We understand the solution, how it works, and general values that it can bring. But okay, question is always how to win a bid, because there will be a lot of competitors and there will be a lot of challenges. So I have prepared you a real life working scenarios, how it can be applied, how we do that with many our partners on that one. So what first thing is that we can understand what are our differentiators that we can apply to any kind of bid. First one is a cyberclone. Cyberclone is a unique patent pending solution. As it is a patent solution, no one can offer it, which is not AST and Zebra partner on that one. So this is a first thing, meaning that if you somehow can make that it is a part of the RFP requirements, either optional or of a must-have, definitely no one can compete with you. The second thing is that you can offer always national or customer-specific or product-specific tactical threat intelligence. Usually these are not being provided by the corporate services providers, talking about, for example, as I mentioned, the Mandiant. Mandiant is providing the general threat intelligence. Cisco, the same thing, and other threat intelligence. While you can provide specific customer threat intelligence or national level customer intelligence or product specific threat intelligence. Again, this is unique that we don't know anyone is providing this information. The third differentiation is that we are not offering just the monitoring, but also the prevention, meaning we are preventing before something even happens, and it is covering even unknown zero-day attacks. And the technical last differentiation, that we can integrate with any third-party partner solution, meaning that we are flexible. If the customer prefers using specific kind of firewalls or IPSs or EDRs and so on, we can always integrate our solution with these products without any problem. So these are technical differentiations that can be applied. On other part regarding the business perspective, differentiation is that first one is we support, if it is a requirement, a white labeling solution. Usually when you are playing with the government organizations, they will be enforcing a local solutions or trusted partners solutions, and using white labeling, you can fulfill that requirement. The second thing is, from the business perspective, is that our price is fully scalable. So depending on the models that you will be choosing and the level you will be exposing to that specific bid, the cost can be from a few thousands euros to a few hundreds of thousands euros, depending on that one. So meaning that you can adopt that, the percentage in your proposal that this part will be taking part of that one. So these are the differentiations, but let's take with the practical examples when you have a real life bid, how it can be applied and what should be done. So, for example, there is a bid that is for the large government organizations. So they will be raising a large bid covering many different aspects of IT, let's say applications, network, endpoint protection, web services, and so on. And in the case, usually it is like that, they're asking for the request for information, RFIs. What is important is that you show them the value of these specific kind of solutions. So during RFI implementation, we will support you to provide a free of charge cyber clone of their specific devices or services. Using this part, you will be able, after a month, to show them specific attack vectors against their specific devices and services as a first value. And the second one is specific attacks and attackers against their specific nation, meaning that you will be able to show, just like what I have shown you, that specific attackers will be coming and attacking them, while these are not being reported by anyone in the world. this will make a strong influence on them, and then usually they will add on these requirements in their RFP, request for proposal. Depending on their vision, they might apply that as an optional requirement, or they might apply it as a must-have. But anyway, it will give you the great differentiation for winning that specific bid. By the way, I have to say that we have used this scenario many times, and it was always successful. We have never lost that part. So regarding the budget, of course, there is, as if you're playing with the government organizations, the budget probably is a fixed one. You cannot apply differentiation. You will be the one choosing the scale, meaning the percentage of the cyber clones and tactical threat intelligence should take in that bid, and you can do it. You can do it without any problem to adopt to the rest of the cost of for your proposal by changing different number of standard traps, number of custom traps, number of clone traps. Each of these has its own separate pricing, plus integrating different customer specific threat feeds for the firewalls for DDR. So it is a flexible depending on the models that you are choosing, a number of them. The scale, again, as I have mentioned, of the pricing can be from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands per year. As we are using, again, the specific model of revenue sharing model, again, we will be with you no matter how much the scale you would like to add to the bid. We will be sharing that with you no matter. So you will not have a fixed cost that you have to think about to be covered on that one. The second example is some small medium business. So there is some small medium business. They would like to purchase network equipment, including some next generation firewalls, and that's it. It's a small scope of the bid that should be done. And your offer, for example, should include Fortinet firewalls for each of these branches that they have, free of charge cyber trap at their public IP, national threat feed integration for real-time prevention. Everyone would like that one to be offered, definitely, based on the fact that you have some traps, or we can place some traps at your specific nation environment. We will be able to distinguish these national level tactical threat, so-called indicators of attacks. And also you can offer the optional cyber clone trap at their public IP for the purpose of understanding what is their level of concern regarding cybersecurity. If they, the first two items will be enough to distinguish yourself from the others, because you will add on additional values without some special cost being added on that one. But the last one, the third one, will be giving you the information about how much this SMB takes care about the cybersecurity part of that one, and tactical threat feed, meaning that if they're interested, optionally they can write some additional budget for the specific part of cyber clone traps on that one. Maybe they have some specific services or specific products that they would like to protect. Anyway, so again, for the small medium business, market price, by the way, usually of the threat fees is starting from 80K up to 350K per year on that one. And this is threat intelligence in the sense usually just that you can access to. You don't have it as a feed at all. But anyway, this is just for you to get the feeling. Again, as we are flexible with the pricing and the components that are being used, you can minimize to the level that you need for this specific SMB a bit without any problems, and it can be done. The last example that I wanted to share with you is you have, for example, some large corporation that is strategically important to you. You would like to start cooperation with them, even if you have initial cost for that one. And the issue is that this is a large organization. Yes, they have local presence, but these local guys do not have the rights of approving any kind of large costs on that one. So the question is how to penetrate that one. Usually what we do is to the local organization, we are offering specific tactical threat intelligence. And usually what we say to the partners, tell them to say for which price they would like to have it, for any price they prefer. So using this approach, you will know exactly what they are thinking about that one, what is the level they can afford to pay for it. And for that price, whatever it is, we will support you to place some first traps, and so they can see exactly the exposure and to see the value of that one, no matter what's the price. Once there is a trap, and we are collecting information who is attacking, and they are attacking. Usually, just after a month, there will be enough information to be shared. They will see specific attack vectors against their specific organization, and they will see specific attackers as well that no one has seen in the world. And once they see about this information and understand it is interesting that usually they will be sharing that information with the upper level organization, and then upper level organization will recognize that it's a question just of time. Is it until like 6 months or 1 year to see the value, and then the contract can be expanded further on, and you can then expand to different countries or facilities that this strategically important cooperation has for you. So as you can see, quite flexible. And again, regarding the cost, do not worry, as we have revenue sharing model. Whatever the deal you can make, we will be happy as long as you are happy with that part as well. I hope I have helped with these practical scenarios that can be applied for any kind of bid. And I will be open for your questions. Just to mention to you, for you to get a feeling about what are the third-party products that we are integrating with. So here you can see that we are doing that with the Checkpoint, with the Fortinet, with Cisco, SentinelOne, Palo Alto, Carbon Black, Microsoft Sentinel. Yes, recently we have done the integration of a huge customer which is using the Microsoft Sentinel for the security monitoring, and we have implemented our threat feeds with the Sentinel as well. Each of these, third-party solutions has its own pros and cons, in the sense what kind of data they can provide, what is the reaction time, refresh time, but still, it's not a big deal. If your customer prefers that specific solution, we will be able to integrate some part of the services with that specific device. Again, even if there is a specific kind of device or solution that should be integrated, do not worry. Usually it takes us below 7 days to integrate our solution with any third party. As we are the owner, we are the developers of the solution. For us, it's not a big problem to do it. With this slide, I will finish, and I will ask you if you have any kind of question for the clarification.
Yeah, great presentation. Thank you, Vladan. You are really on time, and it's yeah, that's one of solution. No matter that I'm also more than 20 years in security industry, I was very positively surprised by approaching to the issue of AST. I would have don't forget that it's live, and you can join us in conversation, to all of you, with questions and ideas if you have or comments. What I wanted to point once more at the end of Vladimir's presentation, that all in all, but nowadays, one of the most important vectors of prevention is zero-day attack. And that's the solution here, which is able to recognize instantly, practically never seen before attacks. Doing that, correlating and working together with firewalls, Vladan's AST solution is able to improve resilience of your infrastructure, of your firewalls, and extend their lifetime, short their time response. It's why I'm mentioning that sometimes it's difficult to replace some part of, if you see that your firewall is not good enough, which is common situation, but you know how many rules you have in the background and how much time you need to replace that solution with newest one, no matter that new layer of security which AST solution can bring to you, it can even improve your existing layers of security. That's fascinating. So,
thank you, Nebesha. Yeah, and I always say, whoever does not agree with that one, we are willing to just place a trap, wait for a month, and you will see what is happening on that one. It's quite simple and easy.
There is one question or in a chat. What about Acronis? So we are doing best to help AST get more details about Acronis CDR to be able to communicate with him, and we hope that we will have some results in near future. So
AST is willing and waiting to start integration with Acronis CDR as soon as it is published officially. It will be our pleasure, of course.